I should probably look up who the original creator of this tag was. This is how you know that I'm not a proper booktuber. I am a fraud.
Hi, says the girl with the right eyes that pairs pretty well when she hits you with the soft smile.
Hi friends, it's Rory, and today we are going to be doing a tag. This is a tag that everyone was doing several weeks ago, but I am always late to all the trends. Love that for me. This is the Anti-TBR Tag, as you can tell because it's the title of this video. So the original creator of this tag is Nicole from Nicole and her books. I'm going to be linking the original video down below. I've actually talked about her before because I really like her videos where she will read like retellings of a fairy tale and then talk about the fairy tale and also talk about all of the retellings. They're really great. I recommend that you follow her because she's awesome. But yeah, so she originally started this because it's kind of like how beauty gurus have anti-hauls, which are some of my favorite beauty videos, and so of course I wanted to do this. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So question number 1 is a popular book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. So I have no idea what happened to my audio right here. It like did something really weird, and so I'm gonna answer over voiceover, which kind of is annoying and is going to annoy personally me. But my answer to this question is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I like Victoria Schwab books. She has some series that I really enjoy, but I'm gonna talk about this more later on in the video. I am not a fan of fantasy books, and because of that, and this being a fantasy book, I just don't have an interest in reading it. Along with that, I've heard some people who like this book say that they like it for the same reasons that they enjoy A Night Circus, and that is a book that I tried to read and just did not like, so I'm going to have to say no to this book. Question number 2 is a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have no idea what the book is about, but every time someone tries to tell me what the book is about, my eyes just like glaze over and I stop listening to them. To this day, I have no idea what that book is about. All I know is that whenever people reference it, it always seems really dumb. I'm sorry if Wuthering Heights is your favorite book, but I have zero interest in reading it, and I honestly don't care what it's about. I don't care why it's constantly used as reference for young adult fiction where the main character loves to read books. I really don't. I don't care. I'm not gonna read it. I have zero interest in reading it. Question number 3 is an author whose books you have zero interest in reading. Sarah J. Maas. Sarah J. Maas. I have zero interest in reading any book by her. I'm sorry. I tried too. That's the thing, is that I really tried. I tried for like half of Throne of Glass, and I couldn't do it. Instead, I consume my Sarah J. Maas content the way God intended it, by watching Read with Cindy's reviews of the ACOTAR series. Sarah J. Maas, from what I can tell, is a very much love her or hate her type writer. So either you really love her or you really fucking cannot stand her. And I have a feeling that I would fall into the second group. I have a feeling I would fall into the second group a whole heck of a lot. And furthermore, they have to do with fairies where the only important thing about them is how big their dick is. So there's an X on Sarah J. Maas. Question number 4, an author who you have read a few books for and just decided that they are not for you. My answer to that is Adam Silvera. Here's the thing. I'm gonna just go through my entire thing on Adam Silvera because like, in a way, he should be an author who I like. Because he does my favorite thing, where he writes like science, like magical realism, but for science fiction. So it's like mostly real life, but then there are science fiction elements to it. Science fiction light, if you would. Sci-fi realism. And I should like that. And he writes queer stories, and I should like that. But I just don't. I really, really don't. So, I got the audiobook for More Happy Than Not. I got like halfway through and I was just like, I just don't care about anything. I don't care about any of the characters. I don't care about the story that's happening. I even tried to pick it up in print to see maybe if it was just like an audiobook thing, and it wasn't. So I stopped that. And then the only Adam Silvera book that I've ever liked from him, I read They Both Die at the End, and I fucking love that book. A great book. And I absolutely adore it. I really do recommend They Both Die at the End because it's great and I love it. And so I was like, maybe it was just that one book. Maybe it was just that one book. And then I tried to read History Is All That You Left Us. I once again was like, I don't care. I don't care about these characters. I don't care about the situation. I don't care. And then I tried to read What If It's Us, which was like with Becky Albertalli, and oh my god, that was a book that I DNF'd halfway through because, like, man, it was not good. I'm sorry, it wasn't. If you, no hate if you love that book, because like, go you know, I'm glad that you got a kick out of it, but I was just like, the entire time. And so I've just decided that Adam Silvera is not for me, with the exception, with the small caveat of They Both Die at the End, because damn, that book is a banger. But like a banger in a way that like it rips your heart out of your like your body and then like stomps it in the ground, like gravels it into the dirt with the heel of your foot and then shoves it back into your chest, and you have to say thank you for it. Question number 5 is a genre that you have no interest in or have tried to get into but just can't. It's fantasy, specifically high fantasy. And the reason is because I am dumb. I'm not a fantasy reader. I just don't like fantasy books. I'm more of a contemporary modern or like magical realism. So something that has like fantastical elements but doesn't get into the nitty-gritty of like high fantasy and like fantasy books. There's a great TikTok. If I can find it and like download it, I will insert it here.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I'm a little lost, but fair enough.
You know, like, I have no fucking clue what you just said, but hell yeah, man.
That's me. Except it's not for just the first 100 pages of a fantasy book. It's me throughout the entire fantasy book. And I finished the fantasy book and I have no memory of anything. I have no idea what went on. There's like a scale of fantasy that I can get through. And if like this is like the middle, so like regular fantasy, and then you have like fantasy elements, but it's still mostly real world, and then you have like magical realism, and then you have no fantasy at all. And then everything after this is like regular fantasy, and then you've got like high fantasy. anything before this point, so before the like fantasy world but you're still mostly in the real world, like everything's a bit easy to understand still. Anything after that, I cannot. I'm sorry, I'm dumb. I'm too dumb for fantasy, and I just have no interest in it. And I've really, really tried, but I can't. I do better with fantasy when it's like visual. Like, so for example, Avatar. You see my freaking Legend of Korra comic right here. I do absolutely fine with that because it's visual, and so I'm like inhaling the information much better. Fucking The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings movies, I could never read them, but I fucking love to absolute shit the movies. Like, absolutely. Like, I tried to read the Hobbit book and I could not get past the 4th chapter. I was struggling so hard. Like, it took me 3 weeks to get to the 4th chapter, and even then I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know. But the Hobbit trilogy are some of my favorite movies of all time. They're comfort movies in the purest of form. The only exception to this are the Chronicles of Narnia books, but I read those when I was younger, and so I grew up with them, and apparently I was less dumb when I was younger. Maybe I shouldn't have watched all that YouTube. Maybe that's it. Maybe my mom was right, and that's what's making me dumb. Half of the teachers got COVID? I'm back. Question 6. A book that you bought that you will never read. Most of these are audiobooks, and this is why I think I prefer Scribd to Audible now. Besides the fact that Audible is Amazon and try to limit Amazon use. At least with Scribd, it's not like I paid money specifically for a book and then end up hating it, but like don't figure out until it's past the time when I can return it, which is like how I end up doing most of my Audible stuff. It's like, I'm in the mood to read this, and so I read it, and if it sucks, oh well, you know, go on to my next one. With Audible, you know, I'm paying this money, and if I'm not in the mood to read something until like 2 years later, it's already past the point of no return. I can't return that audiobook, really. I have a couple of those that are like that, where they're just kind of like chilling and I'm never gonna be able to get rid of them. The one that like kind of like comes out the most for me is a book called The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia. Never gonna read that book. Never gonna read that book. I don't even know why I bought it. I think I just had extra credits and I went on to like a booktube video and someone was like, hey, this looks like it maybe could be good. Kind of, it's kind of like Fast and the Furious, you know, car stuff. And I was just like, yeah, maybe. And then I bought it, and then I just realized 3 years later, I'm never gonna read this. Why did I buy it? It's because I'm an idiot. It's because I'm an idiot and I buy things to make me feel something. And then I realized that was a dumb move. And this is why depression buying should be banned. Question 7. A series you have no interest in reading or DNF'd. My answer for this is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have zero interest in reading The Cruel Prince. I actually got a copy of it in Owl Crate, and just the second I picked it up, I was like, I'm not gonna read this. The reason why is because it's about fairies. I don't like fairy books. And specifically, I just find fae kind of like weird. I just don't like the way that most fae are written. Like, even, for example, Shadowhunter, don't buy any Shadowhunter books from Cassandra Clare because she is into incest and doesn't deserve your money, but I'm going to mention her because she writes fairy characters, so just reminder, do not buy any books from Cassandra Clare. The fae in the Shadowhunter world, I actively hate a large portion of them, which is funny because some of my favorite characters are half fae. Like, the only books with like fae in them that I've actually genuinely liked is Ash. Is that the name of it? Ash by Melinda Lowe? I forget the name of it right off the top of my head, but it's basically a Cinderella retelling and it has a lot to do with fae, and I genuinely enjoyed that book. But other than that, I just don't like stories with the fae, and I'm sorry, I have zero interest in reading The Cruel Prince. I really do. It could be the best book in the entire world, which honestly I don't think it is from things that I've seen. But I have no interest in reading it, and I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I don't want to read it, and I'm not gonna. And the last question is a new release that you have no interest in reading. This is probably, I don't know how popular this book is, or if anyone's even talking about it. All I know is that they talked about it. I follow a couple of book talkers over on TikTok, and like 2 of them are kind of like publishing, I guess, accounts, and so they'll talk about like new releases decent amount. And so I saw a lot from them. I haven't seen much from anyone, but I have zero interest in reading this. And that is Super Fake Love Song by David Yoon. The synopsis doesn't sound interesting to me. It also sounds like it's gonna have my least favorite trope of all time, even though I constantly pick up books that have to do with it, which is just like keeping a secret from someone that is like unnecessary and you don't need to keep a secret from, and then it lasts for way too long. And I always end up complaining about that, even on the books that I end up picking up that likes it. I don't have an interest in reading it. And so I'm not going to. The end of this video is going to be really, really loud because my roommate just got home, so I'm going to try to go through it super duper fast. As always, I hope that you guys had a great time with me today. There's a link down below to where you can register to vote, along with different social movements, ways that you can help, yada, yada, yada. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!
They don't wanna talk, they don't wanna feel the voice in my head saying I don't think I'm. They don't wanna talk, they don't wanna feel the voice in my head saying I don't think I'm real, 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 I don't think I'm. I don't know where my head's been at.